We've just celebrated the 30th anniversary of the political reunification of Germany, but as I said in my last video, reunification happened 11 months after the fall of the Berlin Wall. So as we approach the 31st anniversary of that event, I thought it would be a good idea to look at what led up to it. It's time to talk about the peaceful revolution which gathered strength during the course of 1989 and had its high point on the 9th of October of that year with a mass demonstration in the city of Leipzig. It didn't happen in a vacuum, of course. The Soviet Union was slowly reforming and relaxing its grip on Warsaw Pact countries in Eastern Europe. One by one, these countries were abandoning hardline communist rule and granting their citizens certain basic freedoms. But the German Democratic Republic, as it was called, resisted for as long as it possibly could. And this was something that its citizens were, shall we say, a bit unhappy about, so they took to the streets. There were demonstrations all over East Germany, but those in Leipzig were particularly important and famous. They were centered around St. Nicholas's Church, where prayers had been held every Monday evening since 1982, originally for an end to the arms race, but by 1989 for an end to the Iron Curtain itself. By September 1989, people were gathering every Monday evening outside the church with banners calling for freedom and an end to travel restrictions. This was actually quite a clever tactic because it coincided with weekly meetings for members of the ruling Socialist Unity parties, so there was not so much interference from them. There was some interference though. On the 11th of September, 1,000 people attended Monday prayers, and so the police sealed off the area and made 89 arrests. 2 weeks later, 5,000 people turned up to hear the priest say that those who arbitrarily rob others of freedom will soon find they have no way out for themselves. The protesters planned to march to the district headquarters of the State Security Service, the much-feared Stasi. The police had sealed off the marketplace, so instead the protesters went around the ring road. The following week, the 2nd of October, 20,000 people took part in the march. This time the police did block the route actually taken by the protesters, but the protesters simply broke through the lines. This did result in some clashes and some arrests, but the police were seriously overwhelmed. A few days later, the local paper published a letter from the leader of the local combat group, a kind of official paramilitary organisation whose members were prepared to use violence to defend the revolution. This letter denounced the use of church services by counter-revolutionaries and promised that the combat group would do everything it could to put an end to the protests. Now this came just a few months after the massacre at Tiananmen Square in Beijing. In that event, the Chinese military had put an end to a mass demonstration by slaughtering hundreds, possibly thousands of protesters. Nobody knows the true figure, but the Red Cross estimates about 2,600 deaths. At the time I was 19 years old, and I can well remember how the world held its breath on the 9th of October 1989 when 8,000 police officers, combat group members and soldiers prepared to meet the expected demonstration. But they weren't prepared for the size of the demonstration. Between 70,000 and 100,000 people gathered, saying prayers and holding candles. Some of them distributed leaflets to the security forces calling for non-violence. As the march set off, the local authorities tried and failed to contact Berlin for further instructions. By the time the protesters reached the central train station, the army and the police were ordered to withdraw, and the demonstration passed off without incident. This event is now seen as a major turning point in the history of East Germany. The party no longer had absolute power over the citizenry. Demonstrations continued to grow in size, and the fall of the Berlin Wall was now only a matter of time. Over time was doing something else and, all of that stuff, which I just rehearsed, and I can't remember a word of it, because it coincided with every Monday evening since 1980 something. It was